I'd like to thank everyone for being with us this evening, and I'd like to call this meeting to order. Due to the public health issues arising from the coronavirus situation, the Sussex County Board of Chosen Freeholders will conduct this meeting remotely via conference call. Callers are invited to listen and will have an opportunity to make comments by calling 973-310-7191. This is the Freeholder meeting of July 8th, 2020 at 4:30 p.m. It's a regular business conference call. The United States Census 2020 PowerPoint presentation is on the county website at www.sussex.nj.us. You can visit the Freeholder page for meetings and agenda to view this presentation. Oh, gosh, excuse me. Thought I turned that off. Terry, could you please give us a roll call?
Yes, Freeholder Fantasia will be absent. Freeholder Fasano?
Here.
Freeholder Hertzberg?
Here.
Freeholder Director Patillo?
Here.
Freeholder Yardley?
Here.
Okay, thank you. Would you please stand with us for a moment of silence? And please join with us in a salute to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of
America,
the Republic,
to the Republic which it stands,
one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Next is our public statement. Pursuant to the Open Public Meetings Act, Chapter 231, PL 1975, adequate notice as defined by Section 3D of Chapter 231, PL 1975, has been made by regular mail. Such notice being submitted on June 30th, 2020 from the Administrative Center of the County of Sussex, located at 1 Spring Street, Newton, New Jersey, to the following: New Jersey Herald, New Jersey Sunday Herald, Star Ledger, WSUS Radio, WNNJ Radio, and is also posted on the bulletin board maintained in the Administrative Center for Public Announcements and has been submitted to the Sussex County Clerk in compliance with said act. Could I please have a motion to approve this evening's agenda?
So moved. Hertzberg.
Second, please.
Second, Yardley.
Thank you. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Number 6, we're going to presentations. So Marvin Josh is the Partnership Specialist from the U.S. Census Bureau. And Marvin, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Oh, great. Thanks, Director. And thank you, Board. And it's a pleasure to talk to you again. I can't believe how the time has flown by. You know, I've been in the field now for a year. Actually, a year was yesterday. And as you know, I represent the Census Bureau for Sussex County. And, you know, I'm out there. It's been a little difficult, you know, as you know, the last couple of months, but things have gone well. And that's, you know, a testament, I think, to all the organizations and governmental units we have in this county that care so much. This is the first time that America can respond to the census online or over the phone in addition to on paper. And, you know, we weren't quite sure what to expect on that. We were expecting at best maybe a 60% response rate. And, you know, we've exceeded that countrywide, and we've really exceeded that in our area. And some towns have done, you know, very, very well, and others are just lagging just a bit behind. But the good news is we have some time still, and I just wanted to talk for a couple of minutes about things that are going on and things we can do to ensure we all get counted. Real quick, and again, if you've ever been on 2020census.gov, there's a good link that you have in your packet there. You have the entire presentation. I'm just going to whiz through it, take about 2-3 minutes because you've heard it before and you have it in front of you. But the link to response rates is a really nice link. It breaks the county down, breaks the whole country down for that matter. But for our concern, it breaks the county down by census tract. And if you hover over one of the tracts, you can kind of see how each part of the county is doing. So real quick, America is at 61.9%. New Jersey is at 63.9% overall. And honestly, we're doing much better than that. If you look at that response map, Cape May County is at 29.4%. And there's a number of reasons for that. So obviously that's dragging our average down quite a bit. But Sussex County is at 66.4, which is in the top half of the state. And there's a number of towns doing much better than that. I'll talk about some of the towns in a second, but I just wanted to start with that, give you an overview. And let me also add that anytime you want to ask a quick question, feel free. You don't have to wait to the end, or you can if you want. So if you have the presentation in front of you, you'll see the second slide. It talks about some of our other surveys that always go on before the 2020 census, and they'll continue after. So when we wrap up shop, so to speak, which now is going to be October 31st, there still will be census operations in the county, and those questionnaires go to a random sampling of people. So if you or someone you know get the questionnaire or asks you about it, there's a list of some of the more prominent questionnaires and surveys that we do all year, every year. There's an American Community Survey, American Housing Survey, et cetera. We do expect to count over 330 million people in this country, and that's in 140 million households. And as you already know, we're mandated by the Constitution to count everybody every 10 years, and that is why we do it, pandemic or not, unfortunately. Representation in the House, of course, is tied to the census numbers. New Jersey lost a House seat 10 years ago. We don't want to lose another one. And before this all began, every year there was about $675 billion that go to local programs and services. Some of them are listed there on your presentation, Section 8, SNAP, Medicare, school lunch, education grants, etc. With all these stimulus packages, I can't speak to how many of those billions of dollars will end up here in the state and in Sussex County, but again, another huge reason why it's so important that everybody here gets counted. And again, another point to remember, it's not citizens, it's every single resident. And why that's important is, as you know, we all have to take care of the people that are in our county, here legally or not, documented or not. And if they're here, they're using our services, and the money for those services has to come from somewhere. And if not the federal government, you know where it comes from. You know, your budget, municipal budgets, etc. So again, another reason why it's so important that each and every person gets counted. The data is confidential. It always has been since 1958. Title 13 in the U.S. Code requires it to be kept confidential. In other words, nothing that we collect is shared with any other federal department. ICE, Homeland Security, IRS, doesn't matter. It stays with the Census Bureau. It can't be subpoenaed. It's never been handed over for any reason, and that's the way it's supposed to stay. It doesn't get shared with local authorities, local law enforcement. The only thing that we release are statistics, and we release a lot of them. They are on our website, census.gov, all the time. People can respond still 4 different ways: online, over the phone, the old-fashioned way on paper, or a visit by a census employee. So I want to talk for a minute about that. We are going to be in the field starting August 11th.
Cookie dough ice cream.
Sure. Can you please mute your phone who is on the conference call? Thank you.
All right, thank you. Sorry for that. So we are going to be in the field doing enumeration, door knocking, on only the people that have not yet responded, or I should say the households that have not yet responded. And that's going to begin about August 11. We point out if people do not want to get a knock on the door, and really honestly, who does, especially from someone you don't know in today's day and age with what's going on, please respond online or over the phone, and then there'll be no need to knock on your door. But if we don't have a response from the household, it's our constitutional duty. You know, we will be in the field and we will be knocking on doors. Needless to say, we will be following all CDC and local health guidelines. All our employees wear masks at all times when on the job. and when outside, whether visiting with people or just traveling around. We respect all social distancing. We have tablets to help people respond when we meet them, but we will not hand those tablets over. So we do at all times keep our distance, and we'll assist people verbally with responding to the census. But again, do it online, do it over the phone. You can do it in 12 different languages. There's a phone number for each language. And we did actually send out reminder cards starting June 24. There's a slide there that shows our previous dates, and all the reminders were going to go out in March and April, and we, of course, have extended that to June 24. As I said, August 11 is when we will begin door knocking, and our operations will continue through October 31st. It's still important to get the word out about jobs. I just want to touch briefly on that. We've hired a lot of Sussex County residents, and they will be walking around Sussex County doing enumeration for us. We are in need of a little bit of training space. I've talked to Greg a little bit about that. I do have a commitment from Newton School District, which is great, but we do need a little bit more space. Our plan was to get into County College. They had done a ton for us, as you know, and as many organizations have, but with regulations coming down from the state, they're not allowed to open to outside organizations. So we need a little bit of space. We are not training groups at a time. It's going to be 8 people at a time. We just need an area that can socially distance about 8 people at a time. But in any event, for all our jobs that are available, you still visit 2020census.gov/jobs or usajobs.gov every day of the year. Every federal job, including census positions, are there. We are going to be counting homeless shelters starting late September, and transitory locations earlier September, which are homeless, any place homeless people might congregate. We're going to be out in the field. So again, enumeration August 11, and homelessness and other transitory locations starting about September 3rd. There's a slide that shows the response rate map. And before I wrap up, I did want to talk a little bit about response rate. So again, Sussex County overall is 66.4%. Some of the areas that can use some help, and the representatives, the mayors and council there and the organizations are trying to help, but any further help we can get, and they can get, is much needed. For example, Montague had been tracking in the 40s. They are now up to 51.6% as of this afternoon. And that is higher than their response rate in 2010, as is all the areas of Sussex County, by the way. When I talk about the self-response rates for these areas that are tracking a bit low, they still are better than the self-response rate from 2010. And I think that goes towards all the outreach that we've all done. But Montague's at 51.6. The areas in Frankfort Township around, there's a tract around Culver Lake and Lake Owassa. They're tracking at 49.4%. Overall, Frankfort's at 60.3%. And Western Vernon is at 42.1%. Vernon has about 4 tracts, and the westernmost border of it is at 42.1%. Overall, Vernon's at 59.1%. And if you think of those areas, as you know, they tend to be a little bit more rural, a little more seasonal, and that's exactly why they track low. A lot of these households are seasonal households, and those people might tend not to respond. But we do still need a response from our household, whether the people live there full-time or not. They'll just have to put down that, who lived there on April 1. They can put down 0, no people. It'll give you a soft error, and they'll just hit enter again to get past that. And then they'll ask you, why is it 0? And you'll simply say, there's an option there to pick from. It'll say seasonal property. So, for those reasons and, some others, it's a little harder to count out there. But again, we haven't been door knocking yet, so to speak, and we will do that. those remote areas, a lot of people get their mail through post office boxes, so they did not get an initial mailing like a lot of you did. If your address is a typical address, like a 28 Elm Street, for example, or whatever, those people got mailings, and the people with P.O. boxes did not. However, we did some door hangers last month, well, actually 3 weeks ago, when we were able to get back out in the field once again, and we put door hangers on those people with P.O. boxes as best we could. So hopefully that will continue to increase the response rate in those communities. Some of the good news, you know, a town like Newton that's diverse, has a lot of rental housing, which typically doesn't respond well. They're responding overall at 65.3%. So that's great to see. So bottom line is, you know, we're out there in the field once again. There are events going on. I wanted to leave you with that. We, of course, I can do Zoom presentations to any organization, any event. I can also now do in-person events, and we're starting to do that. I've got a few farm markets that I'll be attending. I've picked up along the way Marks County, in addition to my duties in Sussex.
And those are the kind of policies, conservative policies he's looking at.
I'm sorry, was that a question directed to me? I didn't pick that up.
No, I
Oh,
think
that
it
was
was.
not from us. That was not from us.
Oh, okay. Sorry for that. So I'm doing a farm market this weekend, just as an example of what we can do. So I'm going to contact all the towns and keep my eyes and ears open. But if you're aware of any outdoor events going on, a heads up about that is much appreciated. I'm happy to be there, and I will be there, or somebody from the Census Bureau will be there as well. There's some towns that are now doing some outdoor concert series, all of course with social distancing and protection mandates, and you know, that is what we follow. So that's really it. You know, unless you have any questions, I just want to leave you with the fact that we are in the field. We are available for events virtually or in person, and we do need to get the word out really between now and enumeration, which is August 11. That's the hardest part of the job. Once we start knocking on doors, if somebody hasn't responded, they probably don't want to, you know, so we're still going to knock on the door, but we really would try to get everybody to self-respond between now and August 11th. So this is our last big push. So with that, I'll ask if there's any questions.
Marvin, thank you so much. Anthony Fasano, do you have any questions?
No, I don't, Marvin. Thank you for providing that update to us, and it's good to hear that a lot of our municipalities are ahead of where they were last year, so that's great. But I don't have any questions. Thank you.
Okay, Freeholder
Okay.
Josh Hertzberg, do you have any questions?
No questions. Thank you.
Thanks. Freeholder Herb Yarley?
No questions.
Okay. Marvin, I just want to thank you for all your organizational skills. I mean, it's clear that you're doing everything possible to get people to actually be counted in this census, which is extremely important to us. So I just want to tell you how much we appreciate your efforts.
Well, thanks. I appreciate you saying that. And ditto back to you, of course. As you know, the county's done so much as far as outreach and store getting information out on the electronic newsletters in the county college with the poster contest. And so I appreciate you saying that. And I feel the same about everybody here in the county, including the county government. Everybody seems to get it, the nonprofits as well. And so we're going to keep the pedal to the metal and, you know, here in the home stretch. And, you know, that's about it. So again, thank you for the time this afternoon. I do appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thank you for your presentation.
All right. Take care.
You also. Moving on to number 7. Tonight we do not have any public hearings, so we'll go right to number 8, which is public session from the floor. The public session is for questions or comments pertaining to agenda items only. If you would like to speak on something other than the agenda, there is a second public session at the end of the meeting. But this public session is only for agenda items. Before we open this session, we ask callers wanting to make a comment to first state their name and municipality, and then the clerk will create a roster and will call each in the order received. Comments are limited to 3 minutes or less. May I please have a motion to open the floor for public comments?
Hertzberg, so moved.
Thank you. Second?
Yardley.
Second, Anthony.
Okay. Terry, do you have Anthony?
Yes, I have it.
Okay, thank you very much. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Okay. Now the floor is open to the public. If anyone would like to speak, would you please just say your name and municipality, and then we will make a list and call you in the order that you gave us your name. Is there anyone that would like to speak?
Hello, my name is Christine Dunbar.
Okay. Christine?
I'm from Sparta.
Dunbar from Sparta. Thank you. Is there anyone else that would like to speak? No, not hearing anyone. Terry?
Yes, our one caller is Miss Christine Dunbar from Sparta. Your time
Christine?
starts, Dunbar.
Hi, thank you very much for taking my call. You've heard from me before regarding the issue of PPE, personal protective equipment, and I was wondering if we had any type of a sense of our preparedness in case we have a second wave here in the county.
That's not on the agenda, but we'll take it anyway because you're on here, and I don't want to cause any more trouble. Our business administrator is going to answer that. Greg Puff.
Yes.
Thank you.
The county has been working diligently in acquiring personal protective equipment over the last several months. Certainly the shortages that we saw when the pandemic initially hit have begun to lessen. Our Office of Emergency Management has been coordinating the acquisition of personal protective equipment with our Office of Purchasing. So the county continues to be able to stock and have on hand personal protective equipment. We also have received numerous shipments from the state of New Jersey that have gone out to long-term care facilities in accordance with the state's directive. So we certainly have taken a proactive approach to ensure that we have sufficient supplies of PPE should the need arise where we would need those supplies.
Thank you. So I'm taking it that you do feel confident that we will be prepared in the event of an upsurge of the COVID in this area in the future?
Yes, we do.
Okay, thank you very much. I do have another question, but I don't believe it's related to an agenda item, and so I'll save it for the end. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you, Christine.
Yeah.
Is there anyone else that would like to speak? You're not hearing anyone? Can I have a motion, please, to bring it back? Close the floor.
Hertzberg, so moved.
Second?
Second, Anthony.
Okay, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay. Number 9, we're going to go right to Freeholder Comments, and I'll begin with Freeholder Anthony Pisano.
Thank you, Sylvia. COVID-19 is still present in this country, in this state, and in Sussex County. And I think that is important to state, and I don't want to lose sight of that, particularly because Sussex County, in my view, has done such an admirable job in achieving the original goal, an important goal, of flattening the curve. We did that together, and as a county, we've made strong progress in our efforts to mitigate this virus, and it is important that we continue to do so and prioritize our safety. As I hope you're aware by now, Sussex County's Division of Health does put out daily reports regarding COVID, and our numbers continue to be strong. As a reminder, all of our reporting and announcements can be found at sussex.nj.us/COVID-19. I wanted to note that Monday's county report did show a slight uptick, but that was also partly a result of 3 days worth of reporting due to the holiday weekend. Our Division of Health continues to diligently monitor, report, and advise of Sussex County's efforts and progress in our battle with COVID-19. I'm confident in their work and just as equally thankful for it as the health and well-being of our residents will continue to be our collective focus. But with that said, I can't help but to have a growing concern about how all this work on a local level is being applied to the decisions being made by one person at the state level. The targets to aim for have not stopped moving, and the corresponding mandates haven't stopped either. At first, unpredictability was to be expected. By now, it shouldn't, and I feel it is still annoyingly present in the decisions that impact all of us every day. Last week, for example, our restaurant community was preparing for the start of limited indoor dining, just in time for the holiday weekend and in accordance with the state's own guidance. Sussex County's Chamber of Commerce reported, quote, a new energy and hope for future success, end quote, as they prepared their business safely, coordinated and prepared for the return of their staff, and invested real, crucial capital in supplies for the demand. With about 3 days' notice, the decision was made to indefinitely postpone the start of indoor dining, with only references to what was seen and not what was recorded, and again, not part of the original plan presented. Our restaurant community hasn't heard much since other than today's expansion of outdoor dining, which was yet another surprise that made no reference to a plan. Yesterday was primary election day, and allow me to take a moment to thank and congratulate all of the candidates in Sussex County, along with everyone who voted, in this case, mostly by mail. I'd also like to thank the county clerk and his staff, along with our Board of Elections, for all their hard work in this unique circumstance. I know that was a challenge, and it was met well. But again, what was the point of all of that work and money that went into that? Because we were told that voting in person would be detrimental to public health, and that a vote-by-mail election would prevent crowds. Yet on the same day, New Jersey's Motor Vehicle Commission was opened, with months to prepare, resulting in nothing but crowds at every location throughout the state, including here in Sussex County. In essence, we were told with a straight face that a crowd outside a polling location is dangerous and would not be permitted, but crowds at a state agency would. Yesterday was not a win for our public health efforts, nor was yesterday a win for our democratic values, and it most certainly was not a win for those who waited in line for hours at a state agency, defeating the very specific initiatives of the very same state. Openness and transparency fosters trust, and to that end, I'll quote from New Jersey's own Senate president, who shares the same party as the state's decision maker, in saying, quote, it is time for transparency in data and the decision-making process, end quote. And I couldn't agree anymore. This morning, I had the opportunity to virtually sit with the president of Sussex County Community College, Dr. Connolly, and their board president, Mr. Curcio, who I wanted to thank for their time and commitment to Sussex County Community College and the students who call it home. COVID-19 has certainly not been kind to any college's enrollment numbers throughout Sussex County. However, Sussex County's enrollment is down at about 7% at this time, which is among the best numbers in the state. The college anticipates about 20% of their courses to have face-to-face component this fall as they continue to work on a reopening plan that is scheduled to be submitted to the Secretary of Higher Education this week. Unfortunately, the Culinary Institute's new home will be delayed a few months due to supply issues related to COVID-19. However, the McGuire Technical Education Center will continue its renovations on budget to ensure the proper placement of welding and precision machinery in that facility. The relationship between Sussex County and Sussex County Community College is important, especially today. And I'm very appreciative of their willingness to help Sussex County, especially in hosting our testing site and always offering their assistance. And I still cannot wait to attend that first football game, whenever that may be. Sussex County is a very special place with special people, and I have no doubt that we will overcome the challenges of today and whatever challenges are presented tomorrow. But always know that Sussex County is here for you and will continue to work for you today, tomorrow, and every day. Thank you for your time, and thank you, Freeholder Director, as that concludes my report for today. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Freeholder Josh Hertzberg, please.
Yes, thank you, Sylvia. These are confusing times, and what seems to make it worse is the idea that political philosophies are playing a role in our crisis response. If you're a Democrat, you want the entire country shut down. And if you're a Republican, well, then you want to go around spitting on each other. What's even worse is that you can't even seem to depend on the advice from professionals because they can't even agree on what to do. Wear masks, don't wear masks, only wear them inside, no, now you have to wear them everywhere. Just like with everything else, there's got to be a middle ground. There has to be a blended approach where we understand that our rural areas are different than our urban areas, that we cannot have a one-size-fits-all approach. There are safety parameters we can set that will allow businesses to operate and still keep people safe, that will allow people to remain safe, not crush the dreams of some of our local business owners. Safety measures that are in line with the current threat, but will allow a single mom to get back to work to put food on her table. This is not us against them. We are clearly all in this together, and we have to solve this crisis together. I know people are scared, and I see people online calling for another shutdown because of the fear of another resurgence. But you also have to remember that there are people also in fear of keeping their homes, feeding and clothing their children. Many of us have been lucky enough to continue working and earning our living, but not everyone has been so lucky. Let's please not forget that we must temper our response with consideration for both health and economics. I know some people live in a world of rainbows and puppy dogs where economics shouldn't play a role in this, but in the real world it has to. Our state is a legitimate disaster right now, and this health crisis will only expose that fact more. I hope people understand the effect that a depression would have on the general health and well-being of our residents. The negative impact of a real depression would far surpass COVID. We are quickly becoming one of the worst states in the country in so many categories, and this only highlights the need to protect our towns and county from Trenton's bad politics. But I do need to thank our District 24 legislators who show up and fight that uphill battle on our behalf. They truly are some of the very few voices of reason in Trenton. My sincere hope is that when we've all done letting the media manipulate us into hating each other, we can get back to leading our state and our nation in the right direction. The only way through this storm will be together. Thank you, and God bless America. That's all I have, Sylvia.
Thank you very much. A Freeholder, Herb Yardley.
Thank you. I wanted to talk a little bit about COVID-19 and the impact of the governor's move to close the restaurants in the county. Just to remember that we submitted a tri-county plan with Sussex, Warren, and Hunterdon. And the governor never commented on that, never said, hey, this is a good idea, let's move forward with this. There was not even an opportunity to say, let's try one county, let's try to do this, let's take a look at the restaurants, maybe go by size. There was no opportunity for those people that are vulnerable, and I am one of those people, to have the opportunity to say, yes, I'll go here, or no, I will not go here. As I travel through the county, if you look at the diners and restaurants that have done outside eating facilities, they are following the rules. They are making sure things are sanitized and people are properly spaced. I think it's unfortunate that we did not have an opportunity to see if that would work. Sometimes you have to try, and if it doesn't work, you have to say, you know, this didn't work, we're going to close it down. But we didn't even do that. I think it's unfortunate for all of the people of Sussex County and the people of the state of New Jersey. I would also like to talk about the Division of Senior Services. They had a conference call by Zoom. Since May, they've been aware of doing this to conduct business. They have members of the advisory board that will be assisting them with their different programs using the Zoom conference. And you can, those meetings have been held by using Zoom. The Veteran Committee continues to meet. They had a Zoom call on the July 9th. and they're planning to plan for November's event. They also had a meeting with Senior Services. They met 2 weeks ago at a socially distanced outside meeting to work on the Veterans PIN. The August meeting has been canceled due to the current situation. And so we continue to work with our seniors, and we continue to reach out and work with our veterans and the committees. Thank you. That's my report.
Thank you very much. I would like to thank everyone who voted in the primary election yesterday. I know there was a lot of confusion about procedures. I received calls all day long from people who were still under the impression they could vote in person. However, when they went to their voting districts, they were handed a provisional ballot, which made them very frustrated. There was also a large number of residents that complained to the county clerk's office. They felt that the election was flawed because they could not vote in person. Voting is our constitutional right, and people should be able to exercise that right in a manner in which they feel is safe and secure. The number one complaint that I heard over and over from voters was the fear of voter fraud with paper ballots. What made it worse were the pictures of people huddled together at the DMV agencies with no separation or mask. This was allowed by the same governor who made the decision to cancel in-person voting and require mail-in ballots. At the Randolph DMV, I was told there were close to 1,000 people waiting online, but voters were denied their right to wait online to cast their vote in person. The hypocrisy is just overwhelming. Meanwhile, our county clerk and his staff and our election board staff are doing an incredible job, and I just want to thank all of them. They have a huge task in front of them. Yesterday, they scanned over 20,000 ballots. They have to wait 7 days for mail-in ballots to come in. But on July 14th, they will begin processing provisional ballots. They have about 3,000 provisional ballots. On July 24th, the county clerk will certify the results, so we'll just have to wait a while before we get the final results. The 4th of July weekend was full of activities and celebrations around the state. It was unfortunate that restaurant owners were denied reopening inside dining just days before the weekend began. What horrific injustice to this industry. Restaurant owners were prepared to open slowly following all the guidelines set in place by the governor. Many business owners had spent thousands of dollars purchasing food, reconfiguring their seating, and hiring more staff when the rug was pulled out from under them. The governor stated that because he had witnessed overcrowding and little use of face coverings at some restaurants, that it was necessary to delay the reopening of indoor dining in all restaurants. That is exactly why Sussex County joined forces with Hunterdon and Warren counties and developed a regional plan for businesses to reopen. The plan that we sent to the governor emphasized the importance of looking at New Jersey in regions, not using the one-size-fits-all approach that does not work. Businesses that do not provide for a safe environment should be handled, but handled individually, and they should not affect those businesses that comply with the governor's guidelines. And as Freeholder Yardley just mentioned, we are still waiting a response from the governor in relation to that plan that we sent to him. Next, I just want to talk about a few things, more information from the county itself. Our testing information. Residents needing asymptomatic COVID testing may go to Rite Aid in Lake Hiawatha in Parsippany. They are testing residents without a prescription, and for more information, you can call 973-334-4343. And also don't forget to use the interactive testing map that Sussex County has organized to assist our residents in locating other testing sites. The map is located at sussex.nj.us/COVID-19 within the yellow box. For senior services, they're starting the congregate nutritional sites, the grab-and-go hot meal delivery, which is good to hear. The Apac-On Nutrition site began providing grab-and-go hot meals to Nutrition Center dinners on Monday, July 6th, and Senior Services is scheduled to begin the grab-and-go distribution of hot meals at the Vernon Nutrition site on Wednesday, July 15th. Also, the Franco Nutrition site is not yet offering grab-and-go meals at this time. Environmental health. As you are aware, outdoor dining was permitted on 6/15. The Health Division approved 42 seasonal food vendors' applications. The Health Division has inspected 21 food facilities to date. As far as public pools, there are over 60 public pools and public beaches in the county that have been inspected and are open to the public. And last of all is our Office of Mosquito Control. The Sussex County Office of Mosquito Control is receiving an increase of service requests from our residents. Field inspectors are working diligently to address these requests in a timely manner. The Sussex County Office of Mosquito Control continues to submit adult mosquito samples for disease testing. After 5 weeks of testing, mosquito-borne diseases have not been detected in mosquito population in the county. That ends the comments. So at this point, I would like to move on. We have number 10, which is approval of consent agenda. We don't have a consent agenda this evening. So we'll go to number 11, which is approval of the minutes for the regular meeting and the executive session for June 24th. Now, please have a motion to approve the regular and executive session minutes.
So moved, Hertzberg.
Okay, may I have a second?
Yardley.
Thank you.
Second, Yardley.
All in favor, please signify by saying aye. Any opposed?
Aye.
Okay. Number 12, appointments and or resignations. We have A and B. Could I have a motion to approve the appointments for A and B, please?
Hertzberg, so moved.
Yardley, second.
Okay.
Yardley.
I have Hertzberg and Yardley. Thank you. Can I have a roll call vote, please, Terry?
Freeholder Fasano,
Yes.
Freeholder Hertzberg,
Yes.
Freeholder Director Patillo,
Yes.
Freeholder Yardley.
Yes.
Thank you. Number 13, resolutions A through F. May I please have a motion to adopt the said resolutions A to F?
So moved, Hertzberg.
Thank you. Second?
Yardley, second.
Anthony.
Thank you. Thank you, Yardley. Can I please have a roll call, Terry?
Freeholder Fasano,
Yes.
Freeholder Hertzberg,
Yes.
Freeholder Director Patillo,
Yes.
Freeholder Yardley.
Yes.
Number 14 is awards of contract/change orders/bids. The Board of Chosen Freeholders of the County of Sussex has reviewed the award of contract/change orders and bids consisting of various proposed resolutions and determined that adoption of the said resolutions is in and will further the public interest. May I please have a motion to approve resolutions A through G?
Hertzberg, so moved.
Okay, second?
Second, Anthony.
Anthony, thank you. Terry, a roll call, please.
Freeholder Fasano,
Yes.
Freeholder Hertzberg,
Yes.
Freeholder Director Patillo,
Yes.
Freeholder Yardley.
Yes.
Thank you. Number 15 is financial. We have a resolution to payment of bills for July 8th, 2020. May I please have a motion to approve the bill list?
Hertzberg, so moved.
Thank you. Second?
Yardley, second.
Anthony.
Yardley. Okay. A roll call, please, Terry?
Freeholder Fasano,
Yes.
Freeholder Hertzberg,
Yes.
Freeholder Director Patillo,
Yes.
Freeholder Yardley.
Yes.
Number 16 is personnel, a resolution authorizing personnel agenda of July 8th, 2020. May I please have a motion to adopt the personnel agenda?
Hertzberg, so moved.
Okay, second?
Second, Anthony.
Thank you, Anthony. Can I please have a roll call, Terry?
Freeholder Fasano,
Yes.
Freeholder Hertzberg,
Yes.
Freeholder Director Patillo,
Yes.
Freeholder Yardley.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, next we have our administrative report. And Gregory Pop.
Thank you very much, Director. I just wanted to advise the board as well as the public that we continue to hold twice-a-month calls with all the county mayors to give them an update of the situation concerning the pandemic. The last call that we had, which was last week, we shared a variety of administrative and executive orders that had been issued by the state of New Jersey. County Health Officer Jim McDonald gave an overview of the situation. And one of the highlights that I would like to bring to the public's attention is that the FDA has approved at-home COVID-19 diagnostic collection kits. After completing an online screening, if testing is necessary, a test kit will be delivered to one's home. It is a self-administered nasal swab that is mailed back, and results are received within a number of days. You can access this information through the state of New Jersey, as well as there was also a posting on the county's COVID-19 webpage as well. If you type in New Jersey COVID-19 testing and go to the state's portal, you will see at the bottom of that page the instructions that will take you to the website where you can complete the necessary survey and then continue through the process. That concludes my report.
Thank you. Okay, is there anyone that has any unfinished business they'd like to bring to the board tonight? Okay, is there anyone that has new business? Not hearing any. I'm going to go to number 21, which is the second public session from the floor. The public session is for questions or comments not pertaining to the agenda items. And before we open this session, we ask callers wanting to make a comment to first state your name and municipality, and the clerk will create a roster and will call each in the order received. Comments are limited to 3 minutes or less. May I please have a motion to open the floor to the public?
So moved, Hertzberg.
Thank you. Second?
Second, Anthony.
Okay, thank you. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Okay. Right now we're open to the public. If anyone would like to speak, please give us your name and your municipality so we can make the roster.
This is Christine Dunbar again from Sparta.
Okay, thank you, Christine. Is there anyone else that would like to speak?
Michele Van Allen from Hardiston.
Michele Van Allen. Okay, anyone else?
Lori Champy from Hardiston.
Anyone else? Okay, Terry, would you begin, please?
Yes, our first caller is Ms. Christine Dunbar from Sparta.
I didn't get to say sorry, I was unmuting my phone.
I'm sorry,
Hi.
is there someone else who wishes to speak?
Yes, Katie Rotundi, Hampton Township.
I'm sorry, who was this caller?
Katie Rotundi, Hampton Township.
Okay, is there anyone else that would like to speak?
Christy Laban, Hardiston.
Okay, Christy. Anyone else? Okay, let's try it again. Christine, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay.
You know, and I want to apologize. I think I'm always doing things backwards at these meetings. I have an item that I've wanted to bring up for a while in terms of us as a community making a public statement against racism. Mm-hmm. And would this be an appropriate time, or did I miss the boat on that?
No, certainly go ahead. We do have the copy of the one from Georgia that you gave to us. And I can just answer. We are considering doing that, only we'd like to write our own. So we're waiting right now for legislation to be passed that we could support, that we would include in that proclamation. That's the only reason we're holding off right now, is to have things involved in it.
Yes, I know, and I did read the one that was issued in 1988 when the black woman was attacked by the two white men, and that was such an excellent statement. But it was a statement that is 32 years, ago.
Right.
and made by different freeholders. So it would be great if such a resolution could be made now with this particular moment in time, because I do think it would help bring our community together and keep it safer from all types of hatred now and in the future. So I appreciate you looking into that. That would mean a lot.
Okay,
Yeah.
thanks.
Okay, so that was my main one. And could I just make a comment to Freeholder Hertzberg?
Go ahead.
Okay, this is regarding, I agree that there needs to be middle ground, but I would urge you all and Freeholder Hertzberg to keep in mind that there can be no middle ground on wearing masks and social distancing until we have an excellent treatment and vaccine, okay, for the COVID-19. And this is our future situation for a while, so there can't be any wearing masks sometimes and not others, no 3 feet instead of 6 feet. And, you might want to read about the corona bubble. So that would be another thing. And the last thing I wanted to say was I had the great honor of being a poll worker yesterday, and we issued probably a little over 100 provisional ballots, and things went very smoothly. The provisional ballot was just like the ballot that people received in the mail, but they recycled, or they lost it. Mm-hmm. And people were very kind, and they came in and obeyed. And there were a couple of instances where people didn't wear masks and were obviously angry, but that was in the minority by far. So again, things went very smoothly where I was, and I think that as we get the word out and people understand that signatures are checked 4 times after.
Ms. Dunbar, your time is up. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Thank you for your comment.
Okay.
Our next caller is Michele Van Allen from Hardiston.
Hi, thank you. I just want to make a couple of statements. First of all, I want to address Mr. Hertzberg stating that Democrats want the entire country shut down and Republicans want to go around spitting on each other. Listen to what you said. You said you want middle ground. There is no middle ground on protecting yours and another person's health. There are many people that are business owners like myself that are out of work. I present assembly programs in schools for kids. We'll probably be out of work for the foreseeable future. And yes, I'm a Democrat, and yes, I want the safety of everyone first. However, we cannot predict where this virus is going to go and what it's going to do, and you can't see what's going on. You have to see what's going on in Arizona, Texas, Florida, the Carolinas, Alabama, etc. They are not going to be able to handle and accommodate the amount of cases that are happening right now. They did not heed the warning. They did not prepare themselves. Here's an example that a friend of mine relayed going into the St. Moritz restaurant a few nights ago. A party of 4 came in while she was dining, and 3 of the 4 had masks on, and the 4th refused to wear one and challenged the hostess, and she backed down and let him sit. And I will state, he had a T-shirt on that said, "If you don't like Trump, you're not going to like me." That's his own political statement, but you should be making a health statement. No mask is not acceptable behavior, and that will continue to cause this problem to perpetuate. Mr. Yardley stated that the Sussex County restaurants were in compliance with sanitary procedures, but that's only an assumption. I have seen people working with masks below their nose, which doesn't protect anyone, and restaurant staff in the kitchens have been reported to not have masks on while they're working, and that's just staffing. And you suggest we open up a county here or there just to try it out, which makes me think that people would not. What makes you think people would not come up from other counties and overwhelm our restaurants and perhaps be asymptomatic carriers and continue the uptick in Sussex County? And as far as the voting by mail goes, this is the safest way to vote right now, and we have the ability to do so. It does not put our poll workers at risk, who are usually older and more at risk. It allows people, it puts them at risk rather, and people who cannot get to the polls to vote easily, especially if they're sick or have underlying conditions. And it allows us to make the decision to stay safe. People should still go to the polls if they want to. We need to continue this for the unforeseeable future. As far as I can see, it is the safest way for citizens to use their voice. Studies have shown that voting by mail does not favor one party over another, and voting is usually equal. I am in favor of continuing to vote by mail, and I suggest that we continue to address this. The clerks knew it was coming. They have to be prepared. And yes, it's going to cause more work, but unfortunately, this is the way we need to do it to keep people safe. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next caller is Miss Lori Campy from Hardiston.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Thank you. You can start.
Okay. So in regards to COVID testing, I've hit kind of, a hard spot here. I know we closed the county testing site and I could go to CVS or Sioux Falls, but you need to hit a certain amount of requirements to get tested for COVID. Now, we know that people can be asymptomatic and not carry or not show symptoms visibly, but I would like to get tested for my own health because I am traveling across the country. And when I tried to make an appointment to go get tested, I don't meet the requirements to get tested. Now, again, yes, I could be asymptomatic, but I wouldn't know that I had COVID unless I went to get a test. But I'm being turned down from receiving testing. And in order to keep myself and my friends that I'm going to see safe, I want to get tested. And I even want to get tested when I return from my trip. So how am I to receive a test if I'm not eligible by this criteria for not having symptoms?
Lori, you can go to Rite Aid and Lake Hiawatha, Parsippany. They'll test you, and you don't need a prescription.
I
don't.
don't.
I can give you the number. No. Do you have a pencil? I'll give you the number.
I do. Yes.
It's 973-334.
Okay.
4343.
And that's for Rite Aid, you said?
That's Rite Aid, and it's in Hiawatha in Parsippany. Lake Hiawatha in Parsippany.
Okay. Great.
Okay.
Thank you so much. And is there any way that we can get any of that kind of testing in the county so I wouldn't have to travel out of county? Is that something that we're looking for or looking to in the near future, or is this how it's going to be going forward for right now?
Yeah, if we get funding from the state, we certainly would be doing that.
Okay, great. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
That's all.
All righty. Thank you. Our next caller is Miss Katie Rotundi. Are you there?
I'm here. Sorry.
Okay, very good. Your time can start.
Thanks so much. I just wanted to, I had a few sort of disparate things. And one, I want to say that I agree about the motor vehicles, and I'm glad that you all spoke to it. But I've experienced 2 outdoor dining facilities, the only 2 I've gone to, violating outdoor dining rules within our county. And I'm wondering if there is a county department to call to report those violations, and not in the interest to hurt those businesses. Obviously, the goal is not to damage anyone's livelihood, but rather to continue to protect the public and allow the owners of these businesses to continue. So that's
Katie, you would call law enforcement if you wanted to make a complaint.
Okay. And are the consequences, my thing is I just don't want the consequences that then they have to be shut down. Does that make sense?
No, because either you want to make a complaint or you don't.
No, but I don't mean like a complaint is synonymous with wanting to have the restaurant closed down, because that's not what I want. I would want them to just follow the safety precautions more closely.
Okay, what I'm hearing from someone, one of our department heads, is that the cops will talk to them and ask them to comply.
Okay, so it's not okay. Thank you.
Okay.
My other thing is that in terms of the testing site in Sussex County, I understand that funding is part of it, but I also know that that's under the discretion of the county itself. So with cases starting to go up a little bit, is there a plan for when the testing site would reopen if it does? And if it does reopen, I wanted to ask that you all consider not having a prescription be a requirement in terms of being able to get to places, and also socioeconomic considerations and insurance. I know a lot of people wanted to get tested but couldn't because they weren't able to get a prescription, and it's not because they didn't have symptoms, it's because they weren't able to get a prescription from a doctor.
1 minute.
Katie, can I just interrupt for a minute because I want to answer those questions. They're all good questions, and I have Carol Noffert here from the Health Department to answer them.
Well, I have
great.
I have the answer to your question about the 16. That was actually for 4 days, and we did have a family that traveled down to Myrtle Beach to a wedding and came back, and 7 members are infected with COVID, and so that's what you're seeing in those numbers of 16.
The trends are the same.
Yes, and the other thing is that we've taken a good look at the trends with our epidemiologists, and our numbers have been very low, and the trends for July are the same as June, where the numbers are very low of new COVID cases. And we have a lot more testing going on.
Yeah, does that answer your question?
Yeah, and just about the prescriptions, or is that something that can be considered if it does need to reopen?
So they wouldn't need prescriptions, is that what you're saying?
Yeah, because it was that prescriptions.
Yeah, that would be considered also. Katie, that would be considered as well.
Okay, thank you. I also just had one quick thing to add, that in terms of the proclamation regarding race, I haven't seen it myself and know about it just based on this call, but based on my experience with rallies here and protests, regardless of legislation that's coming, I think it is a really good moment to talk about that because it is very important, and there hasn't been.
Cindy, I'm sorry, you're way past your time, and we have another caller. I'm sorry. Our next caller is Miss Christine.
Excuse me. They interrupted to answer
that
I would have that time.
Sorry, we have another caller. Thank you.
I understand that, but I didn't have the whole 3 minutes. I timed it.
I know you did. I have a stopwatch. We're already at 4 minutes and 9 seconds and counting. I'm sorry. Thank you very much. Our next caller is Miss Christine Lehman from Hardiston. Miss Lehman, are you there?
Excuse me. Yeah, I am.
I know. Thank you.
Can I go?
Sure.
Sorry. And just not let me finish my time when I was also counting it because.
I'm terribly sorry. I have a stopwatch here. Can we please continue with the next caller?
Please stop muting me. This is a violation of the Open Public Meetings Act.
I have no control of muting you. Miss Lehman, are you there?
I am.
Thank you. Proceed.
Okay. Do I begin?
Yes, thank you.
Okay. I just wanted to start with saying that I do appreciate the daily reports, and I do follow them because I think it really helps with transparency for knowing what's going on with COVID. I also wanted to share my experience with I had recently traveled, and I was caught off guard with
whoever is on the line banging, please mute your phone. Thank you. Go ahead, Miss Lehman. I'll give you an extra second or two.
Thank you. I was caught off guard when traveling with my family and learning about the traveling restrictions. I was even more caught off guard by what I observed in my travels. We were traveling through the states that the governor now restricted, and that included Texas, Oklahoma, and Kansas. So I just wanted to share that with you, what I saw. What I observed was those states had kind of an anything goes mentality. There was indoor dining, and the lack of face covering was really quite staggering. Anyone that's ever traveled with kids, you know they have to use the bathroom, so we pulled over quite a bit. And it was really as if the pandemic hadn't occurred in terms of precautions. And
So it was really interesting because, you know, we see things on TV, but it's another thing to see it in person. So I'm sorry, I'm a little distracted. So when we also would see the local news, it looked a lot different than our local news. We saw lines for testing in Dallas and people being turned away daily. We know our own experiences and what's in front of us in Sussex County, but for some context, Texas reported a record 10,028 new cases on Tuesday. Their priority is keeping businesses open, of course, and letting people choose whether or not.
One more minute.
Thank you. Wear masks. And as a self-employed business owner, choosing to lay my loved one to rest, which is why I went, you know, I lost revenue, and then have to self-quarantine when I returned. That was definitely a hardship as well, as I was looking to reopen my practice upon my return. But what's my alternative? To put children at risk, complain about my financial hardship? I'll gladly not put families at risk because it was the right thing to do. So my question to you is, how can you guys lead in a way that shows protection to our health and our business owners at the same time? Because I know that's a priority to all of you, and I trust that. So I just wanted to share that with you because that was something that really struck me in my experience. Thank you.
I'm sorry, your time is up. Thank you.
Is there a way for someone else to speak who didn't put their name in?
Yes, we have your name and your...
Sure. Sure. My name is Lauren Jones Rabbit, and I'm from Newton.
Okay.
Sorry, could I have your Lauren, what was the last name?
Jones-Rabbit, R-A-B-B-I-T-T.
From which town?
Newton.
Newton. All right, then. Thank you.
Great. I'd like to, can I speak now?
Please.
Okay. I'd like to yield my time to Katie Rotundi for the moment.
Thank you, Lauren. I would like to continue what I was saying. Just one, the last 3 times I've spoken at freeholder meetings, I was interrupted. Granted, a few of those times were to answer questions, but the time to speak publicly is my time to do that, and then the questions are supposed to be answered after. Also, I was and you can't silence me because of my being interrupted. It was a violation of the Open Public Meetings Act and my right to speak at this meeting. So I would just like to say that, and I truly hope it doesn't continue to happen. Second, what I wanted to say about the race proclamation is that this is a time where it needs to be stated now, and it could always be reiterated when new legislation comes. And please be more respectful to your citizens that are speaking, whether you care for them or not. As a human being, as a person, whether you like them or don't like them, it doesn't matter. You need to offer everyone the same amount of respect. I yield my time back to Lauren.
Thank you, Katie.
Okay,
I'm just going to mention. Okay, that's fine. But okay, great. I'm just going to mention a comment that just really upset me from Josh Hertzberg, which was that some people who have lives that are like rainbows and puppy dogs. That to me, as a resident of Newton and someone whose life is not all rainbows and puppy dogs right now, but still wants to be protected from COVID-19. I just think that we can just go about this in a different kind of way where we're not name calling or singling people out. So maybe just think about that before, you do that. So that's all I had to say for now.
Thank you.
Well, I certainly wasn't singling anyone out. If you took that personal, I'm sorry to hear that, but this wasn't directed at any person.
What did you mean by that?
I think it was very clear what I meant, and it was that some people think that you don't have to think about economics when you're making these decisions, but you do, because...
Right. No, I totally understand that. I think I just took offense by that. It was like, I definitely know that we have to think about money and people's businesses and livelihoods and just putting food on the table. But it's not an either or. It's an and both situation. We have to do both. Yeah.
That was my point. That was exactly my point.
I just don't think there are a lot of people who are thinking that way. I think it's from my experience, people want both. So I appreciate you addressing the comment and just expanding a little bit on what you meant.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Okay, is there anyone else before I close the public session? If you're not hearing any, can I please have a motion to close the floor for public comment?
Herb Yardley, make the motion.
Second.
Second, Hertzberg.
Thank you. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Okay, at 22, just a reminder, please check the county's website. It's www.sussex.nj.us for meeting schedules. There is no executive session this evening, so can I please have a motion to adjourn?
Hertzberg, so moved.
Second?
Second, Anthony.
Okay, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And I just want to thank everybody for calling in and being a part of the meeting this evening. Have a great day. Take care. Bye.